So let's we wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Most of students join. Then we start our lab sessions. Once again, good afternoon, and let's we start our workshop lab sessions. So now, first of all, we have one announcement. Saturday, I have put one message in your WhatsApp group regarding the joining of Google Classroom for a workshop subject. So now I request to all students to join Google Classroom for the workshop subject, where we have to share some material as well as you have to upload your lab manual file in this Google Classroom. So it is the essential. All students have to join a Google Classroom and only join with your institute email ID. Again, I repeat, all students to request to join a Google Classroom, just go for the My Saturday message where I have to provided the link, and through that link only with institute email ID you have to join that class. If you already joined the Google Classroom, then it's a good. But if you are the facing any issue, then just put your message in chat box. Okay, what type of the error, or if you face any issue. Again, I repeat the instructions. If you're facing the any issue joining with Google Classroom, then put whatever you have issue in a chat box. So let's we start the quick revisions of the last lecture, and then we move to our current today's topics. So now in the last week where we go for text formatting tag. In a text formatting tag where we learn B tag. Okay, if you represent any font as bold, then use B tag, and inside the B tag whatever you have to write, that is the represent as a bold. Next that we learn the tag that is I. The meaning of I, that is the italic font. Like if you represent the font with a italic style, the same inside the I tag whatever you have to write. So that is represent a style with a italic font. Next, like if you represent some font with a underline, so you use a tag that we called a U. The meaning of U, that is the represent as a underline. Next, that we have a tag that we called a P. P means a paragraph. No one can put your name and enrollment number in a chat box. There is a one query. This is a second lecture of this topic. Yes, there is a second lecture of topic, and today we complete that lecture end of the time. And you will give a poll question, sir? No, I'm not give any poll questions. Let's again continue, and then we see the next tag that is regarding the P for paragraph tag. Then the next that we have take a BR, break the line, where we represent the output into the new line. That is the meaning of the BR tag. Then we see the tag that is regarding a font tag. Now in a font tag where we have three attribute. One that is the size, where the size range that is a 1 to 7. For size 1 that is a too small, and size 7 that is a too large. Then also we see a font of face mean the whatever font style that you have to set, that we called a font face. Then after next that we have a font color. You also change your color of the font as per your requirement. Like you directly write down that color name, red, green, black, blue. If you not write down the color name, so we have another method, and that we called a hexadecimal representations, where you have to start with a hash, and then after you have to represent a 6 alphabet, but alphabet range that is only A to F, as well as it support the number 0 to 9. Okay, where it's represent the combination of a RGB method, red, green, and blue. So now first two letter which represent red, next two letter which is represent, sorry, first two red, next two green, and last two that is a blue. And based on input it's a generate a combination, and then it's a represent, so where you have to represent the color with two different method. And we also see the background color, where also you can change your background color as well as the font color, and that is the tag. It's only applicable with a body tag. Okay, where in a body tag you have to write down BG color, and then you have to write down that color name. Same thing, like if you have to add a link into the your web page, okay, where you have to redirect one web page to another web page. So that thing also possible, and that also you can easily create it. Okay, where you have to provided the part of the that specific website, and that we called href is equal to a specific web page link, and that label. If user click on label, so it's redirect to that. That is the example. Then we see the tag that is the image tag, img, then after the src, and that meaning of the src, that is the source file address regarding the image. And then we write down that image name with that extension. So that is the last lecture quick revision. So let's we continue with image tag, and where we see that a different attribute. Now the my screen is visible. Browser plus notepad file. my browser as well as the notepad file, it's visible. Just anyone send me the message. Okay, thank you Tushar Meet for your response. So let's we continue with our image tag. Now the image src is equal to file name. Like I have already download a same G2 logo one and png that a file. Now you can see the image it will be added in your my web browser. Now here one point that you have to remember file name with extension you have to write down, and that file name it's available with a same location because that is my HTML file and that is the image where I have to edit. Now for example that image it's available on different locations in not a same folder, then you have to provided entire path of that, like D drive, then after BC folder, then after CD folder, and in this that image it will be available. So now I suggest you have to put whatever your image you have to upload it in a website, as well as that website page should be available in the same locations. Maybe your image in another location, then you have to provided entire path. Then and then image will be appear in your web browser. Otherwise, it's getting error. So that is the things where we complete on the last lectures. So let's we go for that attribute. So now we have two attribute, one we call a width and second that we call a height. So you also change the width as well as the height of the image as per your requirement. It means you also adjust the size of image easily. So let's we go for that demo how it's look like. Like I have write down width equal to 100 and height is equal to 100. Now you can see the image it will be a small with respect to a actual size. Now the first questions, what is the meaning of a 100? Anyone know? 100 is centimeter, meter, semi, or percentage. Yes, channel, that is answer right, or pixel. And Aryan also have question mark. The 100, that is the represent meaning of the pixel. It means it's a size of 100 by 100 pixel. Because I have already mentioned, but that I have put into the next slide for verifying your knowledge. So here you can see the width, that input you represent in a two way. The first XX that is a represent you can directly input as a pixel, and second that you represent a percentage wise ratio, that also you can add it. It means width as well as the height, both input where you have to represent into the pixel, or second way you can write down that percentage also. For that you have to apply that sign only, like a 10%, 50%, or 100% actual size, or either you go for that input as a pixel. It means if you directly write down the number, So that is the understand as a pixel of that. And if you put a last percentage, okay, Aryan, no problem. I know you write a question mark. Now, for example, I have put here a percentage. Now you can see it's a browser with a actual 100 by 100 pixel. It means it's a cover your entire browser. So that is the meaning of a percentage. Like I go for 10. Now you can see it's a 10% size of that. It's a represent. So based on that, you go for that percentage or direct pixel. But I have suggest, okay, based on pixel, you can easily resize your image. Now it's look like a GTU logo. So I have set a width equal to 350 and height equal to 150. Like I have set a 400. Now it's a perfect. So based on width and height and input as a pixel, you can resize your image as per your requirement. Next attribute that we have a border. Next attribute that is the border. Again, now in a border input, that only you have to write into the pixel, and that is the surround the image. It's a generated black color border. It means outside the image, it's represent the border, and that is the input where you have to represent into the pixel. Like for example, I'll set border equal to 10 pixel. So now you can see the output. 10 pixel size border it will be a created. So that is the way where you can create a border also. Now you also add multiple image in a browser as sorry in your website as per your requirement. Let's we go for that demo. Before that, I have to download the image. I already download one image that is a Marwari University a logo. Now that also I have to check a extension for adding the image, and that is the extension. It's a PNG file. So through a property, you can also get extension regarding the that image file. Now, for example, that image I have to add in my web page. Here I have again start image src is equal to file in a mu and with data extension. Now you can see also Marwari University logo will be added. Now again, for example, that I have to also provided a border for comparisons where I have to like here I provided a 5 pixel in a MU logo, and in GTU I have provided a 10. So we easily compare it. Now you can clearly see the comparison. 5 pixel that is a thickness it's a small, and 10 pixel it's a double thickness. You can easily compare the border attribute for the image. And again I repeat that input it's a represent into the pixel. There is one question from a student. By default, what is the width and height of image? It's a default, it's a default width and height of actual image, Aryan. For example, your image, what is that actual width and height? That is a default represent. If you not provided here, you can see now in MU logo, I have not provided any width and height. So it's appear with that actual size. Like same way to have remove here for GPU, and also you can see it's a large image, so it's a represent uh, here. So if you not provided any width and height, so it's a represent that a default width and height into your web page. Like I have to just so now you can see the dimension just through property details. Yes, so you can get a here like a width that is a 827 and height that is a 405 pixel. So that is a default, whatever they have to size, it will be a generated. Same you go for MU logo, so you can see it's a small, the width is 500 and height is 167, and that approx same things I have to set for GT also. A width equal to 400 and height equal to 150, then it's look like both a parallel image. So now any questions? I hope Aryan you get the answer. Now you can see I was said both have a same width and height. Then you can clearly see the difference, the size of the border, because in GTU I have provided 10 pixel and MU I have provided a 5. Now for example set again 10, then it's look like both a similar image, because whatever size of the MU, that same width and height I have provided, then it's appear as a same. There is one question from someone. How can we move a image? Savan, the default representation in a browser, that is start from a left hand side to a right hand side. But if you like represent the image in the middle part or bottom or top part, so that we also go for one attribute align. But if you represent some specific part, so in advanced HTML, there we have one concept of the division. It means your entire browser should be divided into some specific division, and that division wise where you easily add your image as per your requirement. So let's we move to another attribute. Now the next attribute, that is the H space. So now the meaning of H, you can put a space through a horizontal around the image. It means you can put through a left hand side the space, and that is we called a horizontal space after the image. Now same way to we have another attribute that we called a V space, okay, where you have to put a space through a vertical, and that is the concept of the V. Meaning of the V, that we put a vertical. It means the through the topmost browser, it put a some space. So that is two more attribute, H space as well as the V space. And meaning of the H space that we called a horizontal, and meaning of the V that we called a vertical. Let's we try for that H space. Like for example, I have said 50. Now you can see the difference here. Now you can see after the text, it's put some space. So that is the way we called a H space, because I have right now provided a 50 pixels. That is the space after the text and image. So that is the meaning of H space, where they have to put a horizontal. Now, like for example, I've said 100, and that is again input in a pixel. So now it's represented as a table. You can see again 50, it's a 50. The total, that is the 100 pixel, and that we call the concept of a H space, where you can put a space a horizontal from a left hand side. Now next, that we concept of V space, like same I have to set a 50. Now you can see the here ref space, it will be a put after the web browser. So that is a concept we called a vspace. It means it put a vertically space. Same way to like apply 100. Again it's a 100 space pixel, it's a represent. So that is the concept of vspace. Now the next and last attribute that we have a align. You also set the align as per the image with respect to a text. Now the first three align, that is respect to a text in a relation they have to change, like up top, middle and bottom, and right sorry, and last two, that is right and left, that is respect to a image. So let's we go for that demo. Now set align is equal to top. So now you clearly see the with sorry a text that is represent as a top most. Next that we have a middle. Now you can see with respect to text, it's exactly middle, it's a represent. And next that we have a bottom. So that is a with respect to a image, it put as a bottom. Now next that we have a right. You can see the image that is shifted to a right side, and text it will be a left hand side. Now next that we put like a left, you can see the image which will be a left hand side, and then after the text that is the represent. So these are the property that we call for the align, where you have to set a top, middle, bottom, and right hand side as well as the left hand side. So these are the all attribute for the image tag. Now any query in image tag. Okay, student. There is one question. We are changing the align of the image, but why a text is also changed? Now, as I explained, the first three align, it's a respect to a image in a relation. Sorry, with a relation to the text. It means it's a respect to a text. It a change. We clearly mention the align image in relation to a text. It means with respect to text, first three change, top, middle, and bottom, and next two, that is the right and left, they have to only change the image. Again I repeat, in the first three the image is stable, but your text it will be a change with respect to, and last two, that is change only image align. So let's we continue with another take. Now the next take that is regarding the unordered list. So now, first of all, we aware about difference between unordered list and order list. So now in an order list, they have to, you can see the output, it's a represent into the sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, continue. But where you focus on unordered list output, so they have to represent as a star, 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 star. Sorry, a disk, or that we call a dot. So that is the difference between unordered list and order list. Now unordered list, that is start from the UL. The meaning of UL, that is unordered list. Then again, it's a closing tag. It's also required. Then the next that we have a LI. So that is the list of item. Now the meaning of LI, that is the list of item. where it's represent with a disk. Now again, UL tag, we have one attribute that we called a tag. You can apply a three different type like a disk, circle, as well as the square. And default output that is the disk. So let's we go for the UL tag. So now you clearly see the output. I will start the UL tag. In this, I have write down LI. LI means list of item, roll number 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again it's a closing. So you can see it's a represent roll number 1, 2, 3, and here a disk. So that's why it's called a unordered list. And where we have a attribute that we call like a type is equal to, you can use a circle. Now you can see a disk which is convert into the circle. So that is the things where you have to put it. Now the next attribute that we have a square. Now you can see the output. It's represent here a square. So that is unordered list where sequence it's not a it's not order, it's a represent. It's a represent either disk, either circle, or either square. Now next that we go for order list, and meaning of the oil that is the order list. So you have to start oil tag. Then again, same li meaning a list of the item where we have to represent, like roll number 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is the output. You can easily show it. And then after that, a closing tag OL. So let's we go for that output. You can see that is the output for the order list where you easily see the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, and then continue. So that is the way where you can easily identify the sequence. That's why it's called a OL, order list. Now again we have a same attribute that we called a type. In order list we also change the that type also. There is a question. It is necessary to use a li tag. Yes, it is the necessary tag, Aryan, because if you know how to represent the li, then where you have to write down, because the meaning of li, where it is generate like a square, disk, or any sequence number based on the your outside the tag, either ol or ul. It is the necessary to write a li tag. So let's we go for that attribute for the order list where we have a 5 possible. If you represent like a small I, so that is the starting of the Roman number in a small letter. Then if you go for capital I, so that is starting from the Roman number in capital letter. Then if you go for like small a, so small alphabet, same capital A, then capital alphabet, then 1, so that is a sequence that default it will be a represent. So that is the 5 attribute where you can represent it. Like type equal to write down a small I. You can see the now output it start with a Roman digit. Like same way to you go for a capital. So that is, you can see it's a capital letter, it's a represent. Then after like a small a, then is the small alphabet A B C D. Then after capital A, so that is the output of capital letter wise. And if you not provided any, it's represent as a default, that is start from the number 1 to up to as per the your input. So now any query in a list, unordered list or order list. Thank you, Tushar. So let's we take a first attendance and then we continue our sessions. Someone put your username and password in chat box. I have already a list of join schedule where I have directly get that your name. Just verify your name with a P, and that is the meaning of the present. Just only one student is absent, Savan, which is roll number 106. Just verify your screen. If I write down the A, that is the meaning of absent, and if a P, and that is a good. Okay, Savan, you are present, no problem. Now the all students are present as per the my class list. I hope you verify your name with a present. Yes, Tushar, I have write down your roll number. You can see it. 126. Correct? Let's so we move to another take. Now the next take that we have definitions. For example, if you represent some definitions, then how you represent into the through HTML tag. So that we call a definition list, and that is the short form of the DL. So we have to start the DL tag, as well as that we have to also close the DL tag. Then we have one tag that is the DT. The now meaning of the definition topic. We have to write here that topic name. Then after D, it means that a topic descriptions here we have to describe. That is the meaning of a D. Then again you have to close that a DT and also a DD take. Then also you have to start another topic that a descriptions and end the end where you have to close a definition list. And that is the output where you can see it's a look like. Again, I repeat the tag that is the DL definition list where you represent that some definitions. So let's we check for that outputs. So now you can see the output. I will start, code DL I have to start. Then DT, as I said, topic, DD that descriptions, then another topic and that descriptions. Now it's a output where you can see the topic, that descriptions, then topic, and that about details. So that is the way where you have to define the specific definition list. Let's we go for one real-time example, like how to put computer definitions. Now you can see I have write down the computer and data definition. So that is the output computer. So that definitions and electronic machines that can store, find, arrange informations, calculate amount, and control other machines. So that is the way where you have to represent some specific point and that regarding a detail. So that we called a definition list. Same way to you have to create like another that then another as per your requirement. You can create it multiple. So let's we move to another take. Also you have to write like for example after the DT good representation. If I put like double colon dash, that also it's a represent. It means after the DT tag whatever you have to write, that same detail it's represent into the your web browser, and whatever inside the you have write a DD tag that directly represent that details after the that definitions. So now the tag that is a DL inside the DT and DD. Also use like a multiple tag. Like for example where you have to put a computer as a bold. That also you can affect it. Now you can see the computer it's a represent a bold, and that after that definitions. So based on requirement you can easily do it, and you can use a multiple take also. Now the next take that is the table take. You also insert the table through the HTML take. Now once you add a table, you have to remember 2 point. The 1 point that is the row by row where you have to add it, uh, and second whatever a table detail that is represent left to right. And now the tag that we have to start the table tag, and that after we have to close that table tag. Now inside the table we have to create one more tag that is the tr, and meaning of the tr that is the table row. It means in a table we have to first create that row, and once the row is created, then we add that table data. Now once a row is created, now inside the table row we have to write down the td tag and meaning of the td, table data, okay, which exactly represent inside the table. Again I repeat, in a td tag whatever information you have to write, that is the represent as a table input, and that is the represent as a td. Now again we go through like a table tag starting, that table tag closing. Inside the we have a tr tag starting and closing, and inside the table row where we have to add like a two table data. So let's we check for that output. You see I have create a table tag, then one table row inside the two data, and that a closing, and then after the table tag. Now you can see the output, it's a represent cell 1 and cell 2. It means okay, inside the td tag whatever you have write, that is directly represent into the your web browser run. Now for example you have to add like one more row. So here that is a added that a row, and now in row like you have to add a cell 3 and a cell 4 detail. So that's why you have to create one more tr tag. Now in this tr tag you have to add a td tag. In this you have to write a cell 3, one more a td tag in this like a cell 4. So let's we check for that. Like you have to create a table with a two row. So that is my first row. Now next I have create a, that is a second row. The starting of tr, then td cell 3, td cell 4, and that tr tag is closing, then finally closing the table tag. Now you see the output, the cell 3 and cell 4 it's a added. Now again I repeat the things, once you create the table, at that time you have to focus on 2 point. It's created by row. You have to create it, the data row by row, first row, second row, third, fourth, and continue. And the data in a row which is represented by left to right. For example, I have write down here you can see 2 td tag. So it's a represent first left, then after again continue left to right hand side. Now without a border it's not like a table. Then we have one property that we called a border. Like I have to set a border equal to 1. Now you can see it's created the border for the table, and then it's look like the actual output of the table. Now the table border, that is the input, it's represent as a pixel. Now if I set a 3, so its size will be a increase. You can see the 3 size pixel border, it will be a created. Now the next and last property that we have a bg color. You also apply the color for your table. Like I have write down a bg color gray, and that is associate with only a table property. So it's only created that a table color. So now you can see the output. It's a entire gray color represent. Like same way to I have set for a green. You can see that is the output of the green. So that is two property we already see, border and that background color for the table. Now the thank you. Today we completed a practical one as per the GTU syllabus where we learn basic HTML tag and use of the tag where you can easily create your own profile and that your basic detail. Let's just we go through a syllabus for a GTU. There is a question from Janil. Will you share this PPT? Janil, I already upload that PPT in a e-content. And once the all students join the Google Classroom, in this also I have provided that PPT. So now that is your GTU syllabus. And if you just go through the computer side where we have a two practical, the first today we completed, student has built own website considering as basic profile. It means your photo, your first name, last name, middle name, your hobby, your department detail, your personal details, as well as your college detail. So those you have required the essential tag that all tag we learn in a HTML. And today we completed a first practical. Now in next week we start from the second practical where we learn different OS regarding a detail where we targeted Windows as well as the Linux OS, okay, where we learn a basic command regarding that. So now again I repeat, any query from practical 1. And again, same announcement. I request to all students to join a Google Classroom. If you already joined, then it's good. But if you're facing any issue, you have to just put a message in me WhatsApp, or also you can put a message here in a chat box. Can you share the link? Janil, I already share in a Saturday WhatsApp. Just check your EC2 class WhatsApp, and Saturday I have put a message regarding that. So now, thank you, student. You can leave the meeting if you have not any query. We completed our lab sessions. Yes, student, you can leave. I already informed. If you have not any query, you can leave the meeting. We completed our lab sessions.